spinal. Now this is the very first video I'm filming. I was going to say birthing. That's definitely on the mind at the moment because we have just given birth to Juliet. I really wanted to do this video for you direct from the hospital. It is 2 days post-delivery because I wanted to give you some feedback on how I'm feeling after a Caesar, and also just for mums out there who are going to be experiencing a Caesar for the first time, or if you're like me and it was the third time, I still felt like I needed advice and reassurance. So I want to tell you what I'm feeling, some tips that I find have helped me, and some things that I have been experiencing as well. So stay tuned and I'll give you more info, and welcome to little baby Juliet. Today is 2 days post-op of my cesarean. It was planned and booked, so I didn't actually go into natural labor. Now, having a Caesar can be quite scary because you know that you're going in for surgery, and so you might need to just manage your nerves in terms of trying to keep quite calm on the day. Generally, I find that once they've inserted the spinal, I just feel myself relax. That seems like the scariest part for me because thereafter you don't have any sensation in the lower part of your abdomen. Funny enough, kind of higher up by your ribs here, they were touching me and I could feel that, and they were saying, can you feel this? But anything below that I just could not feel, and your legs are completely dead. Then obviously they start the procedure, which takes about almost exactly 45 minutes. Obviously it depends on surgeon to surgeon, but I was watching the clock on the wall and mine lasted approximately 45 minutes. And then Juliet, well, that's from start to finish, but I'd say probably about 10-15 minutes in, baby comes out, they do the processes, and there was a pediatrician present to see to her care. So once the Caesar was finished, they take you out to recovery. And in my situation, so I'm going to speak about how it was for me in my situation. Obviously doctors and hospitals vary from place to place, country to country, but they basically, I was very alert, very aware, and they put baby on to already start breastfeeding, which I'm very happy about because you want to try get a latch as soon as possible. And also it was just a great way to already start bonding with your baby. Once baby came out, so from the Caesar, the pediatrician saw to her, she removed any liquid from her lungs, etc., gave her just a good checkup and did her APGAR test. Then baby came straight back to me. So while they were stitching me up and still carrying on with everything else they had to do, baby was with me and Claude the whole time, and she stayed with us the entire time. So then, like I said, we went to recovery and then we go back to the room. So baby was with us the entire time, and I thought that was really special because it was bonding. But in my past Caesars in Italy, they have taken baby away. I haven't even got to hold baby, and then they normally do all their checks, and actually they even bath baby and return baby to you fully dressed and clothed. But that's just a country difference. That was a baby born in Italy, so they did it completely different. Whereas now in this Caesar, I got to stay with baby the whole time and just bond and connect with her. In fact, we didn't bath her until the very next day, and again that was even optional. You don't even have to do that. You might want to keep all that Vermex on the skin, which is really good for their skin, and also I think it's just really nice to keep baby with you all the time, especially in those first few days, because it can be quite unsettling. Okay, so the pain. This is something I think a lot of women want to know about. How does it feel to have a Caesar? What kind of pain are you in? Now, straight after the op, you don't feel anything because, like I mentioned, you have a spinal and your legs are pretty dead. I started getting sensation back in my legs and could already move them by the time I was back in the room. So I could already start feeling my legs. Your stomach starts to itch a bit, and then you know that the sensation is coming back. But generally your medical team will be quite good in keeping you connected to an IV drip with pain medication in it, and that tends to manage the pain. At least for the first few hours you're not feeling a hangover lot at all. Once you do start to feel things, then you can ask doctors or nurses for more pain top-ups, and I really just believe it's a good idea just to manage your pain. So rather than allowing your pain to get very bad, keep managing it. So keep that, take the pain medication when they offer it. Try to manage your pain so that you can be feeling as good and strong as soon as possible without having your pain kind of dip, and then you also take a bit of a dip. Something I find really, really handy in the first 24 hours after a Caesar is having somebody present in your room all the time. So either your husband or your birthing partner, if they can also spend the night. Claude stayed here. He slept out on this couch which folds out into a bed. In fact, he actually spent the first 2 nights here, and he stayed with me. And I just found the first day you're not mobile. Even though you start getting sensation back in your legs and etc., you're not really capable of walking. I know I wasn't able to until the next day. Also, again, it depends from country to country. I think I could have probably walked that night and gotten up and had a shower, but I had a catheter in and they said they were only removing it the next day, so I was immobile. The problem was that you need somebody to help you with baby, to move baby, to be able to, for example, do some diaper changes if necessary. And you can call your nursing team to come and help you, but for example, Juliet had made a lot of dirty nappies in her first few hours, which none of my babies ever did. So we changed about 7 dirty diapers in the first day. Now I would have felt a little bit bad to have called the nursing staff all the time to change these diapers. Luckily Claude was here and he was up and he could change all the diapers and help me out. But I really do feel that it's really awesome to have somebody here to help you. You might need to, reach your water or your lip balm or anything like that, and having somebody present here to also support you. It can be an emotional time. It's actually extremely emotional. You go through so many emotions in those hours pre-Caesar and post-Caesar. I mean, even get emotional thinking about it because you get so scared. I mean, I remember lying in the bed ready for the Caesar thinking, is it too late to run away now? Like, is it too late to leave? Like, this is getting crazy. And then you go in and then you're excited because you can't move, so you know it's happening. The baby comes and it's all that emotion, and then you come out and then you're like, well, that's just happened. Now what? I'm in pain. I have a beautiful baby. I can't move. So there's a lot of emotions that you go through. So you need somebody here just to help you, just to speak it through with, just to love you through it as well. So that's very, very important. Now once you've had a Caesar, your body does already start processing that it's had a baby. So your womb can start contracting, which can actually be very painful. Especially when you start breastfeeding, you may find that your womb contracts quite a lot and then you feel like you're in quite a lot of pain, but that is completely normal, and that is your uterus then obviously contracting back to size. So if you feel that, don't get a fright and actually expect that. That also may need a certain level of pain management as well. Then thereafter, your body starts bleeding. Now I found that the 24 hours post Caesar is the most uncomfortable for me. Firstly, because you're immobile. Second of all, you're having a lot of bleeding and you can't really do anything about it, so you're going to need the nursing staff to care for you. They're going to have to clean you up, and they normally do give you baths. I actually had 3 washes in the first day, which was really good of our medical team. It just made me feel so nice and fresh and better about myself. But then you've also got to know that people are going to be bathing you, they're going to be dealing with you, so expect that in your first 24 hours. Thereafter, I find that once I'm mobile, I feel so much better. So I also encourage moms, do not delay getting mobile. Obviously listen to your medical team and what they advise, but when they say you can be mobile, allow yourself to be mobile. It's very scary getting up for the first time because somehow you feel like, you've been cut and you're going to fall apart or whatever. But once you're up and you stand up, it's amazing what your body is possible of, and you actually already feel so much better. You can then have a shower, you can feel a little more human, and in my case I always find that the bleeding slows down drastically once I'm up. And it may not be like that for everybody, but that's just the way it has been in my last 3 Caesars. It's almost like the first 24 hours are the worst. Thereafter I just start to feel that my body is healing. So you may still look very pregnant even when you're not, but this is just a time thing. Your body took 9 months to grow that tummy. It's going to need some time to go back. I was reading on the internet that apparently you need 6 weeks for your uterus to return to its usual size, and that's just the uterus alone, 6 weeks. So give yourself time, be kind to yourself. Now, after a natural birth as well as a Caesar, it is normal to have very heavy bleeding for up to a couple weeks after baby. This is totally normal, and you may need to buy extra maternity pads as well, because this bleeding is heavier than usual, so you should really expect that. But again, it does vary from person to person depending on your body and how it's healing. I generally find after a Caesar I tend to bleed less than a natural birth, but that's just my body, so it does vary from person to person. But be prepared for that, because I think that is also something that can make you feel quite uncomfortable as well, is that you've got to be prepared to deal with that. Have perhaps some black dark pajamas so that doesn't always show up, because you may make a mess in those first few days as well. Certain things that I brought to the hospital this time that I found really useful are, first of all, water. Luckily in this hospital there was a jug of water waiting for me as soon as I came out from the operating theatre. But I also bought myself a big bottle of water, and I had it ready, because normally post Caesar I get so thirsty and feel so dehydrated. So I just love having water on hand, and I just find generally after giving birth your body is so dehydrated, you really need to make sure that you've got some water on hand right away. The second thing that I have used after my Caesars and would 100% recommend is a belly band of some sorts. I also did a video on the pelv-ice. You can go check that out. It's in one of my maternity videos. I will leave a link to that. But basically anything that wraps and straps your belly down after Caesar is really, really excellent, because I find that it helps to support your cut. Now you will be feeling on the cut that it's quite sensitive, but funny enough that area is actually quite strong. So by laughing, etc., by getting up, it's not going to pull apart, even though it feels like it might. But by putting on like a belly band, I just feel like it adds extra support. It also helps to pull in your tummy, and generally for me, in my experience, I think it has aided me in getting my postpartum, my prepartum, if that makes sense, my pre-pregnancy body back. Guys, I'm sorry. I'm still not thinking completely normal, but it really does help me in trying to get my body back. I feel that way, at least. It just seems to support that area a lot more, so that's an absolute must-have. Another must is either like a type of mesh panty that you can wear in the first probably 2 days or so, because these are really easy, quick to wash and dry. So if you need to turn them over because of mess, etc., you can wash, get them air dried, and have another one on. And also you don't care about them, you can just ditch them or throw them away right afterwards. If you can't get your hands on these, then you can also get cheap black underwear that you don't mind also just throwing away after you have finished with it in the hospital as well. And then another items that I really recommend are loose fitting, comfortable PJs, preferably in dark colors, because then if you do have any mess, remember you're having milk coming in, you're having a lot of leakage, and you can't see it on dark PJs. And also it's important that you feel comfortable. Your body is going to feel so uncomfortable. You are going to be larger than your pre-pregnancy weight, so make sure you take that into account. A pair of PJs I brought to the hospital here, specifically bought for maternity, I couldn't even wear because my boobs have expanded so much I couldn't even get it over my chest on that area. So you need to remember to rather buy larger, because it needs to fit you and your body is not going to be back to its usual size as well. And then something very important to also bring to the hospital is just some cute items to take those first few pictures with baby. I find that I really kind of use those with this baby, with Juliet. I really like just getting 1 or 2 cute pictures to send back home to family and to friends. I guess you could post on Facebook or wherever you want to as well, and tell some cute things that maybe say welcome to the world or the baby's name, etc., in cute ways. It's a good chance to do that. You only have normally a couple days in hospital, so if you want these pictures, you need to pack the stuff into your hospital bag and try and remember it too. Coughing, laughing, sneezing after a Caesar is no joke. Giggling is okay, kind of, but I felt like I need to cough quite a lot, and I can't cough. You just cannot cough. Almost like clockwork. The moment baby starts breastfeeding and latches on, I can instantly feel my stomach again start contracting, and it can be quite painful. It's like painful contractions, but again, as I mentioned, this is your uterus contracting back to its usual size, so don't get a fright if this happens, but it's almost instant and it is quite painful. Guys, remember to leave us comments on our Facebook page about any questions you have. I'm happy to answer any mommy's questions regarding Caesars that you might have. So I know we're all in this together, and it can be a very scary and daunting time, but I must say I find that the recovery time on a Caesar is not so bad. It's 2 days post-op. I feel good. I'm mobile. My pain is totally under control. Right now I'm just taking paracetamol for the pain and feeling good. Now this also again varies from mom to mom. You may still be 2 days post-op and you may be feeling very sore still. Again, it really does depend on you, but this video is pretty much my experience, and I feel like I'm ready to head on home, to probably not do too much. You gotta still take it easy. It's still very sensitive in that area, but I feel like I can manage the pain and become a little more independent as well. So if you are having a Caesar and you have questions, leave them for us, as I mentioned, on our Facebook page, and we'll do our best to honestly answer them as well. To all the mommies expecting babies out there, this is a wonderful time. It's a time filled with so much joy. You have lots to look forward to. Go check out this video over here where I'll show you further details on the pelv-ice for a belly wrap solution, and also just to help your lower area after having a baby.